Alright, and we are back with Tremor killing against Inazuma's Survivor team as the Wraith for the first round of the finals of Charities of the Fog. And we got ourselves another Hex Totem there, friends. I wonder what that might be. As well as a Corrupt Intervention. We do see scratch marks going out towards the helicopter gen. Actually back in this corner. Wraith trying to find where they're at. Nancy with the pallet throw and going to be leaving quite early as they will dive down, potentially a bounce landing. No, that is a stun on the drop and no sign of safety in sight, though Nancy gonna be going to the window and will go for the vault. Survivors now keenly aware of Hex Blood Favor back in the mix as we do see those pallets now blocked by the entity. With that being said, we do see Nancy going to this filler tile. Wraith going to just go for the uncloak and down. So a very early down here for the Wraith. Once again, we're seeing Blood Favor activated, unable to drop pallets in the nearby area. That was both the Nia as well as the Ace here on this generator. But looks like the Wraith will find the Nia, who will have the chance to drop the pallet and get the blind too, but missing the blind will W key away. However, Ace probably still nearby, prepped and ready for the unhook, but no sign of them as the Nia does draw the Wraith away towards the library. Nia, though, once again, getting a little bit caught out here. Need to be careful of that Blood Favor as the first gen does pop off. We are right now at one hook so far with 30 seconds left before Nancy does progress to second stage. Being that much closer means the back to campfire via the entity. And we do see what looks to be the Claudette up here for some reason. Blood Favor reactivating. Not sure what the play was there, but nonetheless, Wraith going down to the hook to see if they can progress in the second stage. But that there, friends, is a reassurance. Going to be extending that first hook stage quite significantly. So that is huge for these survivors as we see the Ace leave the gen and receive a 7%. Nia will get the pallet stun, however, will take the Hell State nonetheless. We do see that no one has been able to unhook the Nancy so far, and their reassurance has run out. Claudette getting body blocked out, trying to get around, but I don't think they're going to be able to make it past the Wraith here. So we will see Nancy progress to second stage. A really strong... No shot. No shot. Hold the phone, folks. Apparently, I spoke too soon, as that was a last-minute unhook by the Claudette. That was not second stage. That was, in fact, first at the very last moment. Now, Nancy will go down nonetheless. I could have sworn I heard the pitter-patter feet for a second there, but Blood Favor making it impossible for them to drop the pallet on the Wraith. But that was quite unexpected. I imagine the Wraith cursing that Claudette underneath their breath there on that unhook. That being said, Wraith gonna recloak here and potentially go for the unhook, as we did see Claudette trying to make their way towards the Nancy once again. We will see the Claudette getting boxed out just a little bit. Wraith trying to get around them, but not able to do so. Pallet going down. Claudette not wanting to unhook in front of the Nancy. In fact, I believe Claudette might be the one with reassurance, as they do reassure and run. And looks like they are going to be here at the lobby pallet. And looks like Claude just going to keep the Wraith a little bit busy. 2 gens have been completed. Blood Favor activated once again. Survivors unable to locate where Blood Favor is, at least thus far, and have not cleansed it. And looks like they are going to go back towards the hook on Nancy with about 30, maybe 40 seconds left on the clock. This hallway is really difficult for these survivors to manage because the Wraith has the ability to block from multiple directions, basically making it impossible for one survivor alone to get the unhook. That being said, it could grab the 2 healthy survivors off of gens, and force them to get the unhook. That being said, Reassurance has put in a lot of work, as we do see scratch marks over here by the helicopter. There's the Claudette. Nia taking the body block. Ace nowhere in sight, potentially going for the unhook. Now would be the time to do so, though it does appear that Claudette will be going down unless there's a pallet here, but Blood Favor still in play. We do see the fast vault there trying to get to the Nancy in time. Looks like they will successfully do so, and very well done. The question is, can the Nancy stay upright for long enough, or will the Wraith get their tunnel out? And there it is. There's the down. Unless there is a decisive strike, that there will be the first survivor sent back to the campfire via the entity, via Tremor's killer Boo. That being said, we still see a survivor left on the ground. And speaking of killers, we have our resident kitten Butter, who decided to knock over my studio light. If you heard that scraping noise in the background, I swear, much like the Wraith here, or actually not the Wraith here, but some killers, there's nothing but moths between his ears. That being said, though, we do see the Wraith getting the hook here on the Claudette, now going around the gens to try and get some regression. That there being a deliverance, I believe, on the Claudette, as we do see that broken status effect. And looks like we are going to be continuing to chase the Nia here, who does have, who has lost the Hell State, is leaving blood behind them. Nia, though, trying to get to the pallet in front of them, though, will successfully do so. Wraith not taking the stun, will move to the next tile. And looks like Nia will greet the pallet here, and will do so very well, as they're going to make their way to the next tile, but I do not think they're going to be able to make it there in time, as Nia will jump into the locker. Going back to the same hook as before, as we do see, as the Nancy was prior, and we will see the Wraith go cloak up again. This is now 5 hooks in. We are getting very close to that 6 hook mark, where it's pretty much the ideal for Wraith and killers on RPD. Anything more than that will be a huge boon for these survivors. However, Wraith finding the Ace, the Claudette's still injured, and the Ace will now too. Ace trying to draw the Wraith away from that unhook, maybe for good reason, as I imagine Claudette going to be making their way over towards the unhook. However, no sign of the Claudette. They have not made their way through lobby here. And Wraith kind of taking a quick appraisal of where these survivors might be working on a gen. Keep in mind, I do believe we saw earlier that the Claudette was able to reassure the survivor on that hook from the library. I think that's what we're seeing here. However, Claudette getting the unhook before second stage incoming. Nia with the body block. There's the BT hit, potentially more than that if it is off the record, etc. And looks like we are going to take a chase here at this window. Claudette going down. This here will be the 6th hook here. And the question is, have the survivors been working on this 5th generator all the while? Because honestly, I think they might just be able to get it if they are doubling up as we speak. However, Claudette now on second stage, 1 hook away from being sent back to campfire via the entity. But looks like the Ace here on this pallet was working on a gen. However, Ace doing a fantastic job faking out the Wraith, but I don't know if they get to a pallet in time. It's going to be very close, but they do. Doing a fantastic job greeting these pallets, faking out the Wraith time and time again. The Wraith trying to hold the Ace on this side of the pallet so they don't have the vault available to them. There's the drop, there's the vault. Wraith in hot pursuit, but no bounce lane will result in a quite significant stun, as we do see the unhook on the Claudette for what it's worth, but Ace not able to extend the chase that much longer. Overall, both sides doing a fantastic job, though, as the Wraith continues to get more and more hook states here. It's starting to look like the 4K is going to be imminent, especially as we do see Blood making their way over here. Claudette trying to sneak on by and get the unhook on the Ace, while the Nia completes the 5th generator. That being said, though, Claudette now in a world of hurt. though they are able to use this pallet to their success as they do end up making their way over towards the ace. There's the reassurance for what it's worth, though getting the unhook immediately after. Ace with the body block. Wraith not willing to be patient, instead is going to eat right on through it, not willing to risk off the record or true BT. However, Claudette going to the God palette, and Wraith realizing that they cannot waste too much more time, because if the Nia has been on a gen this entire time, she might just be able to complete this gen. There's a noise notification in the distance, not exactly sure what it may have been, as the Wraith circles the drain there. This gen here with just about 3 cylinders going, pretty well progressed. Wraith now going to have to worry about that. It's possible these survivors may no longer care about the hook states given, but instead aiming to just get that 5th generator for the tie condition later when they switch sides. That being said, Inazuma and Tremor doing a fantastic job here. Nia with a cheeky play here, but Wraith with the fake. Nia with the drop. Nia going to try and revolt there, but not in time, as we see the reset by Ace and Claudette. The question is, will that be worth it, as Nia here will be put on hook once again. I don't remember their hook states, however, so we'll have to wait and see. Looks like they are going to be hooked here in the middle of the live lobby, and this is the 2nd hook here for Nia, meaning that there is 2 survivors currently on death hook. I believe that being the Claudette and Nia, who is currently on hook. Ace trying to drag the Wraith away from the lobby, as we do see Claudette come on through for the unhook. This will not be a 1-for-1 trade, but will be pretty close, as we see the Claudette separate from the Nia. Wraith having to be careful, though, because they see the Nia heading in the direction of the progressed gen, and a little bit concerned about this being completed. However, Nia, sensing the Wraith in hot pursuit, will drop off that attempt, instead trying to get to something, anything to keep them upright, but they will end up going down unless there's a decisive strike here. That there will be Nia sympathizing campfire via the entity, as the Wraith hears the Ace and Claudette, but they get the Claudette healed in the nick of time. That was quite gutsy there by the survivors, but Claudette will be able to make it to the next tile for what it's worth. But Wraith, ooh, potentially a 99 sprint burst. I was thinking that the Wraith was going to get the down there, but Claudette making it to the next pallet in time. Really well played. Mind you, the Wraith could have gotten a survivor out of the game if they would have picked and hooked the Nia, but now Claudette in a fantastic chase, dragging the Wraith across the map. The question is, will 2 survivors on that gen the Nia was on earlier be able to complete it before the Wraith is able to get to them? And if not, what is the gameplay thereafter? We do see scratch marks over here by the hook, though. Potentially an Ace on that gen, but with it not being very progressed, the Wraith does not care, instead going back to the locker room or storage room here, finding the Nia once again. And yes, there is a pallet here, but it is not very strong. Nia not even going to attempt to play it, as they will end up going down. No, a dead hard and a stun to boot. That is huge here, as that gives the survivors just a little breathing room. However, Nia going to vault out and try to make it to the other pallet, but instead going down underneath the hook. Wraith, though, not content with the hook and hook alone, will try and seek out the Ace. Though the gen has progress, it's going to be all for naught here, as the Wraith will get the kick, and unless the Ace is going for the pickup, I believe the Wraith here is going to leave the Nia slugged out on the ground. They have about 3 minutes on their timer before they bleed out. Mind you, bleed outs do count towards hook stages, much like they do in DBD CC and now CoTF CC, which does mean even if there is a bleed out, that still will count towards the hook stages. And Wraith will get the hook state from Nia, leaving just 2 hook stages from the Ace. Wraith convinced that the Ace is still nearby, checking every locker, though there are plenty of them, mind you. 2 minutes now on Nia's bleed out timer. No sign of them or any crows. Looks like this gen with only about 2, maybe 3 cylinders firing, and there's the Nia on the stairs. But Wraith not going for the pickup, just checking on them in case the ace is nearby. Not a lot of progress on these gens. I think the ace just aiming for an escape via the exit gates or potentially the hatch. Once again, there are no offerings allowed in the charity tournament or in CoTF CC going forward, meaning that the survivor and killers alike have no clue where the hatch will spawn. So it will be a true RNG moment as Wraith will go down into basement looking for the ace, checking every nook and cranny imaginable, and there he is. The ace was in fact in basement. A valiant attempt from these survivors to potentially get some outs, and looks like the ace will try and make it to a pallet. There's a god pallet that might give him enough time. Keep in mind, only 60 seconds are left until the Nia on the ground does bleed out. And looks like ace will go for the vault there. Wraith getting faked out, getting caught a little bit on the tile there. Ace doing a fantastic job keeping the Wraith busy for what it's worth. 30 seconds left on the bleed out timer. Ace making it back around for another vault, but there are not much in the way of resources here. And looks like they will end up going down. I mean, it's a valiant chase, to say the least, but Wraith is going to wait out the time necessary for the bleed out to ensure that there are no deliverance tricks, though I want to say deliverance may have been used already. Hard to say for certain. That being said, Wraith confident that they will be able to get the hook after the bleed out, will pick up ace. There's the bleed out. There comes 12 hook stages here for the Wraith at 4 gens completed. If Inazuma wants to win, they are going to need to get 12 hooks at 3 gens or less in order to secure victory and move on to the next round of the top 8 finals. That being said, well played by both sides. It was a really well fought victory for the Wraith, to say the least. The survivors definitely put up a hell of a fight. All right, and we are back for the final trial between Inazuma and Tremor, where they are going to need to get a 4K 12 hook at 3 gens or less in order to secure victory. 4 gens will result in a tie between the two. Now, I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna work here in the finals, but we'll figure it out. That being said, we are jumping right on into chase with the Nia, and so far everything looks to be good. We are bug-free, all survivors freely moving with their feet, and we once again see a blood favor here as the pallet is blocked by the entity. This here resulting in what looks to be a down on the Nia. Now, if a survivor is nearby, it will not matter as that pallet is blocked by the entity blockers. And this here will result in the first hook here for Inazuma's Wraith. That being said, and speaking of, if you guys are interested in seeing a map that is not RPD East and or the Doctor being the randomized killer or 4th killer for the map pool, please consider donating to Stream for a Cause, as we will see the ace here now in chase with the Wraith. I, for one, would be very interested in seeing a killer like the Death Slinger. Do want to note, however, that we see a night perk here from Nowhere to Hide, as the Wraith will safely pop that gen, regressing it by 30% of its current regression. So we have the full build once again of Blood Favor, Pop, Nowhere to Hide, and a Corrupt Intervention. That in mind, we see scratch marks going over to the unhook on the Nia. That will result in the unhook and a hit on the Nancy. Honestly, a little bit surprised that did land, as it looked like a bit of a reach past the Nia. That being said, first gen popping off, 3 to go in order for the tie condition. Only 2 can be allowed in the instance of the win condition. Nia, though, not going for the pallet, interestingly enough. I'm not sure what was up with that. I think they had the distance required to get to the pallet there on the right, but they opted not to, and I'm not exactly sure why. Potentially a decisive strike. I was thinking maybe off the record, maybe true BT, maybe a dead hard even, but no, we saw none of that. So we're really confused by that, to say the least. With that being said, we are going to be kind of just hunting around for something, anything, but we do see the pickup there on the Nia. There's the throw of the God Pallet by Zarina and a body block to boot. Very well done by the team. A bit of a risky play there by the Wraith, and it just not working out for them, to say the least. That being said, Nia still in chase here. Pallet coming up and pre-dropped. Wraith going for a bit of a mind game here, but Nia privy to it, will vault back and forth. Wraith trying to get the mind game right here, but I don't know. The Nia just holding their ground. There's a dead hard, but just a little bit too early. Really well done, though, by the Nia, calling out that the Wraith was faking on that side, but that will buy their team enough time to complete another gen, if not two, I imagine. That being said, Wraith now with pop in hand once again, going to be searching out for one of the most progressed gens. Not a lot of progression to be had here in the middle of the map. A little bit of a 3-gen, though. 2 in lobby, 1 right here. This is going to be the pop target, and we do see Nowhere to Hide once again activating, revealing the ace, but not the Nia. Wraith looking around, trying to see where the Nia may have gone, but no blood, no scratch marks, no nothing, except going into the courtyard. Here is the Nia, and she needs to make a mad dash. Now, reminder, she does have Dead Hard in hand, however, not wanting to waste it just yet, will get the stun on Wraith. The question is, will she have enough distance to make it to this next tile? And I think she will, just barely. But thereafter, Wraith is going to be bloodlusted soon, so she's going to need to use that Dead Hard and use it soon. Though, I think, oh no, she's not going for the window, instead going for the pallet here. Seeing the dodge there at the locker, maybe forcing a decisive strike. Maybe we were right that initially it was decisive, and Wraith now just going to be chilling for a bit. There's the block. She isn't getting to the pallet, no Dead Hard. There's Blood Favor. And now Wraith just hovering over the Nia, waiting for decisive to end. That being said, no decisive strike, no nothing. I'm not sure what the play was there, to be honest. Maybe it was just Nia forcing the pick, and Wraith just thinking they had decisive all the while, as 4th gen is now completed. 3 survivors left in the game, 4 gens completed, 1 remaining. If an instance Tremor is able to complete this last generator, that will result in a win for Tremor. They will make it to the top 4. And unfortunately, this is where Inazuma's journey will end here for Charities of the Fog. That being said, well played by both teams. Some really great gameplay all around. And we thank Inazuma for joining us here today. That being said, we still have a little bit of the match left, which means that we still have some time in order to randomize the next killer and map pool before the next bracket is seeded. That being said, we see the 1 man out. I imagine Nancy will leave shortly as well. And based on that noise notification, that seems to be the case. So GG, well played to both teams. So once again, congratulations to Tremor for progressing to the top 4 and securing prizing here in Charities of the Fog. With that being said, we're going to go to a quick intermission before taking a break, as we are going to randomize some killer and maps and see what spicy things that we can get.